What's up, traders? Hope everyone's having a good night so far. I just wanted to check back in on the MJ space and just cover Canopy, Aurora, and Aphria really quickly, just to follow up on my previous videos to see what we can look forward to for Friday and heading into next week. So starting off with weed, and actually before we get started into weed, we had a lot of good news come out. However you want to look at it, good news, bad news, but essentially with Jeff Sessions essentially getting the boot, so now he's out, and they're obviously looking to fill his role, and with that happening yesterday, we obviously had a lot of bullish momentum going into the end of the day, and then today we had a sell on the news scenario, and essentially, a little bit of bearish momentum. So with that said, my belief is that this was already priced in, this entire move, because even when we hit this period here, when we were hitting that equilibrium, even though it looked like a bull flag, there was still some selling pressure, and we didn't look like that we were going to actually have another leg up. But then we had, 2 significant days in volume, and then, the day that we had the news come out, we had even more volume pour in. So I do think, the market had this priced in, this particular move, and I do believe that there was some insider, trading going on, especially with this move just being so significant as it was. And it was definitely a solid bounce. So we found our low. Let's draw some quick support resistance lines. We found our low at 41.80, and then we essentially bounced from 41.80 to 61.25. So you can look at that, and that's about I'd say 25% plus move. So quite a significant bounce that we had. And now we're essentially looking to form our daily higher low to our high here set at 61.25, and essentially get a daily higher low and higher high break to essentially continue our bullish momentum, or we will set our lower high and lower low and then continue towards the downside towards 41.80. And if we just look at this quickly on the 4-hour, and even actually before we get into that, do want to note as well that we do have a daily inside bar as well forming, that formed actually. So another support level to look at would even be yesterday's low of 54.09. That'll give a clear indication into what's going to happen tomorrow, but essentially since our high is in for now, I do expect some more bearish momentum to kind of set in and potentially set our lower high, our higher low in comparison to 41.80, and then look for a potential bounce after that. So, and you can even see if we look at the hourly range here. This was our end of the day. This is around the time that news came in. So you can even look just at the end of the day, we had 2 million shares traded in an hour, which is a significant amount of volume, for 1 hour, and that obviously gave us a good bullish gain. But after we found our high, we set our low at 56.32, lower high at 59.20. And now we've set a lower low at 55.27 with, again, an hourly inside bar forming. So even for short-term levels to look at, we can see 55.27 being a short-term level to look out for in the morning. And then essentially a break of 56.38 to the upside. We can see a quick bounce and potentially again set, I think, another lower high in comparison to 59.20. But if we do break that, we will have some more bullish momentum to the upside to go to 61.25. So looking at Aphria really quickly. So again, similar situation with Aphria. I'll take out these support and resistances here. You can have a nice clean chart to look at. And these are, again, I'm going to mention this a lot, but these are, again, going to do, make very, very similar moves. And they do kind of follow each other and correlate. So I won't dive into this as deep as I will into that I did into weed, because essentially, once you typically break down the biggest name, which in my belief is Canopy for the Canadian MJ sector, essentially the rest will correlate and they'll follow. So it'll be pretty easy to kind of just look at them and see where we look to do, because essentially if Canopy sets the daily lower high and higher high, daily lower high with a higher high break, we can expect potentially the same to happen. So with that said, again, we found our low at 1237 on October 30th. Since we found our low, we hit our high, essentially creating a daily lower high in comparison to our all-time highs of 2096 and even 2069. And now we'll essentially be looking to form a daily higher low similar to the other names, with either a higher high break or potential breakdown and consolidation more to the downside. To look at some quick levels, short term, we have our low here set at 1603, hit our high, higher low, lower high, and then essentially higher, again, another higher low, lower high, and we're in this tightening range. So essentially very similar, but the only difference with Aphria to note in comparison to Canopy is that we don't have a daily inside bar here. So that's something to note as well. But with that said, it's essentially the same scenario playing out with the low in the high set, in the lower high, higher low. So it'll essentially, we look like we've formed a double bottom here. So we have a low of 1654 and 1650 as a quick double bottom. So we can either bounce to the upside and essentially go towards 1713 as our next resistance, 1760, or we'll break to the downside. My guess will be, since we formed our high and we do have a long lower wick here, it does look like the price may be set in for now, especially with today's bearish sentiment. So again, we'll be looking to set a daily lower high in comparison to 1237, with hopefully a higher high break and going into next week. And even just look at the quick weekly chart as well. So here's our high set at $22, lower high at 1237, and then we'll see what will happen on the following week. But essentially, our high and our low is set for now, and this could be our lower high set for this week, but it'll depend on what happens tomorrow. Going into next week, that will give us an indication if it's in or not to confirm that. And then just finishing off with ACB, again, similar look, high set at 1624, low set at 725. Again, spinning top candlestick on the weekly chart with a little profit taking with the upper wick showing. So our high may be set for now. Again, we'll need to see what happens next week to confirm that if our lower high is set. As far as looking at daily, again, we'll delete some of these just to make it a little bit cleaner. Oops. Okay. So again, we found our low, 725, set our high at 1059. Our high does look to be set in. Again, similar to the other names, we'll be looking to set a daily higher low in comparison to 725, and then a higher high break of 1065 if we want to continue the bullish momentum. If not, again, we'll be heading towards the downside to 725. And if we want to look at short-term levels really quick as our next clear levels, so we'll have one at 934 as our next level, as well as 959 as our next level. And even with this set, you can see when we set our low, high, higher low, lower high, and inside hourly inside bar with a breakdown, and essentially creating another lower low. So that will be something to note as well. So as far as short-term support, again, 987 would play as another support level. So we're looking at 987, 959, 934 to the downside. As far as the upside is concerned, 1034 would be the next level towards resistance, and 1065. And yeah, that should be it for our next just major levels to look at to see what will happen tomorrow leading into next week. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys have any feedback, please share it with me. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe. And if you have any questions, please hit me up, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care. Bye now.